herzlich willkommen zurück auf SchalkeMerica. I'm your host, Richard. No Jack tonight, but it's a Victory Monday nonetheless. We were not going to be stopped from coming on the podcast tonight. How is everyone feeling? I'm feeling excellent. I am feeling excellent, I got to tell you that. By the way, if you hear music in the background, it's too loud, just let me know. I'll turn the volume down. But I got to have some music tonight. I am celebrating. It was a glorious weekend if you're a Schalke fan. Maybe not so much if you're Paderborn, eh? But, man, it was... we're just smiling. Who's not smiling right now, right? Crazy comeback victory for Schalke. 3-2. Before I start things off, no Jack tonight. Obviously, there's no Jack Manga tonight. I was in Chicago this past weekend. I didn't get to watch the game live because I was in Chicago. Jack was getting married, so Jack was celebrating his marriage. Got to be there and witness this. That was an awesome occasion, a beautiful wedding, beautiful couple. Met a lot of awesome people there. A lot of people I've interacted with over social media before, but now face-to-face is a pretty neat experience. So shout out to everyone I met at the wedding. Really awesome people. Really good times there at all. And what better way for Jack to get a wedding present as a Schalke victory puts us on the brink of promotion against Paderborn 3-2. My goodness, as Ronaldo says, that tastes like promotion. And Joseph says, woo! I guess channeling his inner Ric Flair, maybe. So shout out to everyone in here tonight. We're obviously going to talk Schalke and their huge game. And maybe look at some of the other results. And what do we have to do to lock this thing up going forward? Spoiler alert. This next game against Dusseldorf, 100% there will be a live stream watch along during the game, just in case, because why not? Why not? We did it a couple years ago. We got to keep the tradition going on, right? So tonight we're going to always talk the game, talk some team news stuff, see what else pops up and get on out of here. However, it's a Victory Monday, not just for the men. And we got to kick things off with Die Frauen. Die Frauen are officially promoted. Medhunters in the house. Glück auf. Bundesliga's calling. And the women should get some love in here. They got promoted. What a wonderful season they've had. I'm going to show you their statistics here in a second. But my goodness, Glück auf to Anthony. I see you as well, my friend. But we're going to start it off with the women. Fantastic results. A fantastic season for them. Just look at the last three results that they had. They won 10-0 against Borchen. Then they won 10-0 against Osborne. And then they won 9-0 to clinch promotion against Iserlohn. Unreal season. Look at these results that they've had this season, the women. This is ridiculous. Joseph, I agree about your comment, and we're going to get to that tonight. But let's look at some of the statistics for the season for the women. They win with 60 points, get promoted. Look at this goal differential. 135 plus 135. Are you kidding me? 146 goals for, 11 goals against. Oh my goodness. And second place is, well, you know who. But my, what a season. Last year we fell short just a tidbit, lost at the end to our rivals. And then this year we got to get promoted. So we'll see our rivals once again next season. But what a wonderful season. I had to start off with the women again, like I said, because they got promoted and we're trying to keep this mojo going, right? Maybe we get back-to-back weeks of talking about this stuff. I don't know yet, but we had to start with the women. They are fully deserved to be top billing at this moment. But let's talk about what we came here to talk about, and then obviously that is full-time Schalke 3-2 victors over Paderborn. What a crazy game this one was. Let's get to the lineups for this one. Lots of motion in this game. Where is my... By the way, I gotta let you know if I don't expect anything crazy to happen. We got some crazy thunderstorms in the region right now, so if I leave, it's because of probably a tornado warning, but I think we'll be okay tonight. I think our friends in the south will be more of a peculiar area than we will be tonight here in where I'm at here in the Midwest. So, but let me pull up. Where's my? Oh my gosh, I lost my notes now. Oh my goodness. Boom, 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 boom. Give me a moment here. I think I'd be better prepared for this kind of stuff, but there we go. Okay, I'm good. I'm good. All right. All right, back to the starting lineups in this one. First, let's start with the home teams that were Paderborn. Two teams here right away, Schalke and Paderborn in this game. Both teams on a 10-game unbeaten streak. Pretty impressive for the top two teams in the league. There's a reason why they're the top two teams in the league. We obviously knew we weren't going to have Dzeko in this game again. Likely for next week against Düsseldorf, we will see. Katic is out for the remainder of the season, as we know. Some crazy statistic that we also heard from Ryan, I think on Twitch last week, saying how good Schalke was against the top of the table, right? So Schalke has gotten 17 points from 21 games, or 21 points possible from direct rivals. Paderborn have 0 wins against the top. That's a quite contrast, right? And obviously now you can make that 20 points from 24 points possible for Schalke. That is unreal. That is the main reason why we are getting promoted. 20 points out of 24 out of the top 5, against the top 5, while Paderborn had 0 wins against them. There he goes, Ryan again. He says it. 20 out of 24. Unreal. Joseph, stay safe out there, my friend. Stay safe out there. So look at the lineups for the host team. Seaman in goal, good goalkeeper. In defense, you have Brackelman, Gotha, Mario, brother of Mario, I should say, and Scheller. In the midfield, you had Lorin Kurda, very good French player. Mika Bauer, solid attacker. Castaneda, Bilbia is a stud. And Sticker, obviously, no Obermeier, he was out. We heard that last week that he was going to miss this game. And the attack, you had Stefano Marino, who's had a really good season, as well as you got Robin Mueller. So it's a good quality team. This is one of the best teams in front to back in this entire league. So they were going to be formidable. No Obermeier, nonetheless. This is a really good team. And as Joseph says, yes, incredible record against top rivals. 100% reason why we are getting promoted. If we are in the position of getting promoted, I should say. Ljubicic and Aušić made a difference for Schalke in this game. Tis true. And let's talk about Schalke here. Karius in goal once again. Back four did not change from last weekend. We had Timo Becker, Ayhan, Kuricay, and Ndaye in the back. Midfield, you had El Fauzi and Schallenberg in the holding roles, with Aušić on the left, Karamat in the 10 role, Ljubicic on the right, with Musa Silla leading the line. Good, solid lineup. Nothing surprising here, honestly, in terms of lineups. But I wanted to see how Schalke would come out. This is Paderborn is one of the better possession teams in the league this year, and Schalke obviously are one of the worst ones. I think they made note during the match how at the winter break when we were in first place, we had one of the fewest possession out of anybody in the league, and we had the least amount of goals scored, even less than Dresden, who were in the bottom of the table at that time. So, we don't really care for the ball, so I was curious how to see how this was going to work out. Paderborn being at home, you would figure that they would have possession. However, they are a lethal counter-attacking team, so you could have gone many ways with this thing, right? Eric's in the house says, Glück auf, good to see you, my friend. Matt Henner says, Paderborn definitely our strongest opponent so far, 100%. It says, Schalke haven't lost in 11 games. Aušić played 7 wins, 4 draws, including beating Paderborn and Elversberg. Massive. As Joseph says, hit that like button, everyone. Hit that like button. So, how are we going to start the game? I thought we started this game okay. Right, 5 minutes in, Karaman with a nice through pass as Silla ends up getting saved by the keeper. Ensuing corner kick, goalie drops the ball. Looks a little chaos there. I think they called the play against Schalke, even though it was the goalie running into his own player, lost the ball. Should have let that play through, whether we would have scored or not. Hard to say, honestly, but in those situations, you kind of let it go through, and if it ends up being a foul against, you can always go back on VAR, but I thought it was a really poor call there. Paderborn in particular, I thought to start the game looked really sloppy. I thought Schalke was just completely dominated them. It looked like Paderborn maybe a little intimidated or nervous about the game. Obviously, this is a huge game. Both teams, in the worst case scenario, would want to draw, and both teams would want to win, right? But then the way Schalke came out, Paderborn looked quite sloppy. Went from the goalkeeper, obviously making that mistake early, but was giving up turnovers, not really connecting on passes. But I think what kind of woke them up is their counterattacking play. As much possession as we were having, all of a sudden we make a turnover and they go on this counterattack, and they are so good on the counterattack. 13th minute, ball comes into the box from Bauer from the left-hand side, and a sensational goal by Korda. What a strike by him. They said it was going like over 100 miles an hour, the shot, the volley that he had. I mean, he struck it perfectly. Nothing Karius could have done with it. I mean, it would have been a miracle save by Karius. There's maybe a couple goalkeepers in the world that maybe would have had a better reaction than that. One is Donnarumma probably for PSG, and maybe, I don't know who else, but that was a ridiculous shot by Korda. You got to give him props on the goal. Could we have done better on that play? Absolutely. I mean, you want to see a little bit more pressing up on the defender pressing up on Bauer so he wouldn't get that crossover as quickly as he did. But again, it's a fast counterattack. You really don't want to let anyone get behind you, and so you kind of give up that wing play, and then Bauer took full advantage of it. Really good, fast player with a good cross, and Korda timed that perfectly. As Joseph says, it was a good goal and very frustrating start for us. That start would get more frustrating for sure, but not an ideal way to kick the game off. We had an opportunity, and 20 minutes in, we get pinballs in front of the Paderborn goalkeeper. And it seemed like we were going to get a chance there, and all of a sudden it goes like lightning quick counter the other way, and that seemed to be the theme, from about 10 minutes on up until about the half-hour mark. It was just lightning quick counterattacks by Paderborn, and I was getting really nervous. Obviously, they scored their first goal off a counterattack. We had no answers for them, and the frustration that Joseph's talking about, it is compounded in the 26th minute where another freaking counterattack, and Bilbia gets into the box. The ball gets into the box. Bilbia has his chance. Karius makes a save. It drops to Marino, who's like cool and calm, and puts the ball back in the net. 2-0, half hour in, on the road for us. I'm not going to lie. I felt nervous at that point because we've seen this script in the past, right? Where, a couple quick goals early in the first half hour, and we didn't have the mental fortitude to withstand that. Now, that was old Schalke. The last 5-10 years, old Schalke would have collapsed at this point. 2-0 down. You might have looked at a couple more goals against in the first half. Old Schalke. This Schalke, under Miron Muslić, what he has done, what he has instilled in his team, is this never give up attitude. It's what we've always had in our DNA, and we've lost our way over the last 10 years or whatever. But Miron Muslić has got it back for us, and confidence helps with that. Oh, gotcha, Joseph. I gotcha. So yeah, I think Miron Muslić instilled that in us, and so 2-0. It could have gone two ways, right? We could have put our heads down and accept the defeat at that point, or put your head, or you hunker down and fight for it. And what you saw immediately is Schalke get back on the horse. They weren't phased at that point. It's surprisingly Schalke kind of like shook off that second goal and got back into what they were doing previous to the counterattacks, and which is like first 10 minutes, and started owning possession, started creating opportunities. 31st minute, there's a loose ball that found Auschwitz, and he gets a shot over the bar. I thought it was a great opportunity for him to kind of put it in there, but he kind of skied it there. And you see Schalke just starting to turn that momentum there. Good job staying composed. They had those couple punches early on, but they gained back possession, started creating chances all of a sudden. 35th minute, there was a counterattack by Paderborn. Luckily, Karius and probably, I think, Ihan or Kurchai kind of snuffed that out and kind of stopped it. But when you have a glorious chance on one end where Paderborn had that counterattack and should have done better with that than they did, you don't score on one end, it comes back to bite you on the other end. And seconds later, first of all, last week we talked about the tremendous pirouette that Auschwitz made to kind of create the play and set up the goal. I have to give equal kudos to our captain, Keenan Karaman, on the right-hand side, who makes a beautiful Zidane-like pirouette, switches the play across the field to Ndaye. Ndaye heads up, beautiful through ball, curve ball into the box, and Ljubicic reads that onside line perfectly and taps it and past the goal. 2-1 at that point. Ljubicic, we've talked about how quiet and ghostly he's been at the beginning, when he first joined the team, but he's gaining more and more of a foothold in this team. Last week he had a really good game, and then freaking that timing and that perfect through by Ndaye and then hit perfect touch. All he had to do was touch it. That's what he did. Got it past the goalkeeper. 2-1 at that point, to 35 minutes in, and like, yeah, baby, we're in this. We're back in. That's all we needed is a goal. Get us a goal by halftime, and we're good. But then what happened, right? All of a sudden, we score a goal, and Muslić turns up the gegenpress and starts making sure the guys attack the ball and force chaos. And that chaos, 5 minutes later, led to another dangerous through ball, this time by Ndaye again, finds Ashish at the top of the box. He gets the ball into the box of Silla. Silla gets saved by the keeper. Silla stays with it. Ball ends his back, right back to Ashish, who's trailing as he should. And boom, top of the net, 2-2. Unbelievable comeback at that point. 2-2 in the first half is looking similar to the game we saw on Friday night, the shootout in that game where it ended up being 3-3. And that negative, terrible feeling we had at 2-0 at 26 minutes in, just 15 minutes later, that is completely wiped away. We are dominating the game. We got 2 goals in quick succession. We're winning every second ball at that point. The rest of that first half, it just complete domination by Schalke. It seemed like Paderborn were reeling and were getting ready to give up another goal. It just, luckily for them, they held on. I mean, even in the 45th minute, El Fawzi gets a shot. Looked like it was going on target and got deflected by a couple guys and goes just wide. 2-2 at halftime. Couldn't be more happier. However, it's still a lot to play for. I felt that coming out of the break, now that we're back at even, we'll probably see a more conservative game by both teams because nobody really wants to make a mistake to kind of give that goal up. Anthony says Ljubicic is another player who is scoring more goals than Pulisic in 2026. Well, he's probably not having girl problems like Christian is. And so it was like a switch turned on, and we started playing how we're meant to again. It's funny, Joseph, that you mentioned that. It did seem like that, where like first 10 minutes we looked good, and then all of a sudden the counterattack started happening. We had no answers for it. They scored a goal, then they scored another goal. And it's in that second goal where the team was just like, okay, we got to stop. We got to start playing here. This, as Keenan Karaman has been saying, these are finals. We have to step up. And it's just like, boom. I don't know who said what, but the light switch turned on, and they started playing again how we were expecting. And great resilience to not only make it 2-1, but make it 2-2. My mouth is like fading at the moment. So no changes coming out of the break. Coming out of the second half, both teams maybe a little conservative, but I think it started being a more even game. You saw Paderborn getting a lot of corner kicks. Schalke was getting a lot of corner kicks. I did notice that, yes, after we scored that first goal to make it 2-1, that pressing style that we have increased and ramped up, right, until halftime. To start the second half, though, it seemed like Schalke kind of backed off. And Jack and I have talked about this in the past, where like we like to start the games off with this pressing, and they press, and it almost seems like it tires us out. And one of the big complaints we had is that all this pressing towards the end of the games or end of halves, it burns us out, and we end up having no energy, right? What you see here in the second half is Schalke kind of backs off the pressing to start the second half, and kind of just like letting Paderborn do what they want to do behind the ball. That's why Paderborn gets a little bit more possession in the second half. And then slowly we start, as the second half goes on, it builds and builds and builds. 60th minute, you end up seeing Keenan Karaman on the left-hand side with a wicked cross, looking for Kuricay. Just missed, really well played defensively to keep it away from him. And then about, I want to say like the 75th minute mark or so, Schalke all of a sudden turns the press back on. So like we were there for about 30 minutes, kind of just like going through the game, not trying to make any mistakes. And then Muslić says, nope, let's ramp this up, crank it now, because we want to win. We want to win. We want to impose our will on Paderborn. And that pressure started ramping up. You saw, 81st minute or so, Auschis gets a cross into the box, finds Ljubicic. His shot gets blocked, but you see Schalke creating all these chances. It's building and building and building, and finally, 83rd minute, ball comes over. Keenan Karaman, yet again, fancy footwork to go around 2 guys, somehow keeps the ball. I don't know how this guy does it every now and then. Just randomly pulls things out of his ass, gets the ball out wide, finds Auschis. Auschis crosses the ball into the box, follows you, gives it to Silla. Silla's trying to get a shot off, can't. And I had to watch this a couple times, but it looked like Silla intentionally slides the ball over to Ljubicic backdoor, wide open, who just hammers the ball back in. 3-2 at that point, and the comeback is here. I don't know how you guys feel. This had similar feelings to St. Pauli 2 years, or whatever it was, 3 years ago during the promotion push. That huge game where Salazar scored the third goal where we were down 2-0 early in that game as well. That game, we went down 2-0 and came back, stormed back, and got the 3-2 winner. That was at home. This is on the road. But very similar feelings in that one that we had to this. 4 years feels like forever. Yeah. Joseph says, I was driving when our game-winning goal went in, had to celebrate without causing an accident. I'm glad you were safe on that. Safety first, my friend. But 3-2... We thought it was over at that point. Paderborn nearly equalizing like immediately. But eventually, Schalke, who were using all their starters throughout the game at this point, finally started making substitutions and brought in some defensive help. Gantenbeim and Vitaly Becker came in for Ndaye Ljubicic. Silla went out. Bachmann came in. Aushish went out, as his Gomes came in as well. So fresh legs to see this game through. And... excuse me, what we got going here? I got so many things going on tonight. Okay. Yeah. Wonderful comeback. 3-2 victory. We saw the rest of the game out. Unbelievable result. I mean, I think all of us felt we could win this game. We would have settled with a draw. We would have had a 4-point lead at that point over Elfersberg or whoever's in third place. Hanover, who cares? But we didn't. This mental fortitude by Muslić forced his team not only not to give up at 2-0, but grind their way and find a victory. 3-2. And, man, after all that, I mean, this league table is as beautiful as it can be. Am I in the way? Let me get my face out of... oh, well, whatever. Let's do that. Boom. There you go. Now I can see a little bit better. Look at that, 64 points. We have a 6-point lead on second place Paderborn, and we have a 7-point lead over third place Hanover. Wow. As tight as this league has been, Schalke decides to go on an 11-game unbeaten streak and decimate all the top rivals in the top 5 and deservedly have a 6-point lead at the top of the table. This is like... I can't believe I'm watching this at the moment right now. This is unreal what we're seeing here. And what does this mean for Schalke and the next steps? Well, one win and we're in. Is it Dusseldorf this weekend coming up? Or is it, who knows where it's going to be? 3 points and we're in. Sure, there's some leeway here, but I'd rather not chance it. Let's just get it over with, and then you can play some youngsters down the stretch. I don't care. Get the win, and then you can see out the champion, win the championship. Not only do we want to get promoted, get the championship as well, but the first part is getting the official promotion. And when that happens with a win, we will be on a live stream this Saturday coming up. It's going to be a top spiel, right? The Schalke's playing 2:30 p.m. Eastern time, 1:30 p.m. Central time here in the States. We will be doing a live watch along there. Ryan says, we need to win versus Dusseldorf because I don't want to promote from the cow. That's right. Get the win versus Dusseldorf. That is what needs to be happening. And as Sanjar says, for the sake of the Bundesliga heritage, I hope Hanover gets promoted over Paderborn. I mean, I wouldn't mind Hanover and Paderborn get promoted, right? But yeah. No, we'll see. Hanover's getting hot here at the end of the season. So, wow, 3-2 victory. Unreal performance by the boys. And the girls as well, right? But my goodness, it's just let me get to some of the talking points here for this game because so much to wrap our heads around. I mentioned like this wasn't just a win. This is the top spiel of the season. 1 versus 2, clearly the 2 best teams in the league, and we win this game, and it's exactly that stoppage time epidemic that Jack and I have been talking about, how in the halves, end of the game, we kind of fall to pieces and blow points. We should have probably got promoted at this point already, because how many games have we blown? We talked about earlier, several podcasts ago, how many points we've dropped because of late game BS by us. And so what we've seen here in the last, well, certainly this game, a complete turnaround of that. We're down to nothing. We scored 2 goals late in the first half. We score a goal late in the second half. Get the win on the road. It's just it can't be said enough about what Muslić has done to this team. Yes, Baumann deserves a lot of credit for the team he's assembled, but what Muslić has done, mentality-wise, turning this porous defense into the best in the league, and then taking a bunch of guys, which, by the way, this is hard as well. You bring in a bunch of players in January. You never know how that's going to work out. More times than not, there is a learning curve. And obviously you have a guy like Edin Dzeko. He's going to help tremendously. But all these pieces fit perfectly. I think Ljubicic was the only one that probably took some time to kind of kickstart. And now over the last 3 weeks or so, Ljubicic has been ridiculous. Auschis has been great from the beginning. But over the last, 4 weeks, he's got tons of assists and 2 goals now. So it's just, this team is firing on all cylinders, and Dye has been great since the beginning. It's been really a wonderful thing from top to bottom. I may have to thank New York FC, screwed us over. Yeah, this is a valid point. I mean, where would we be without Muslić right now? Because we nearly sold him, right? I got Edin Dzeko. The plan was to sell Muslić to NYCFC. And the backup was going to be Gomes, or who the heck knows the backup was going to be, right? But they screwed it up. NYCFC screwed up that transfer. They blamed the medic, or I don't know what the hell the reason was. And Muslić came back to Schalke. And unfortunately for us, Dzeko gets injured for now 5 games now. And still has had to be the guy there. And he's played tremendous in his 5 games. He hasn't necessarily always scored, but he's been involved. Look how many times in this game against Paderborn where he got the through ball in, he caused the chaos, and all of a sudden there's loose ball in the box. Auschis benefited one time. Ljubicic benefited one time. You can say he's got 2 assists. I don't know if they credit him with 2 assists, but he should have got 2 assists. Certainly on the Auschis goal where he kind of passed it back to him, intentionally or not, and then the assist on the Ljubicic goal for the game winner. Says, I think the plan was to get another forward after selling Still. Yeah, and it could have worked. Baumann seems to have the golden touch at the moment, so it could have worked just as well. But hey, we kept Silla, works out. Maybe we'll sell him in the summertime. Who knows? But this change in mentality to go from giving up leaking goals in the games and the halves to now doing the opposite, it's tremendous there by Muslić. I already talked about Muslić and how it's changed the mentality and everything. I think who is your player of the game, all right? Because obviously Ljubicic, he gets a lot of attention because he's got 2 goals. Auschis, had a goal and an assist. Muslić, 2 assists. Karius didn't keep the clean sheet or anything, but he had a decent game. He came out when he had it too. Karaman, I thought, was fantastic. I mean, that is what a captain does. He steps up. He didn't necessarily have the goals, but he had huge plays that led to goals. So, I mean, you could say a number of guys. I'm curious what everybody's thoughts here in the chat and listen in who you thought was the best player in the game. I thought for sure the heroes. You got to give credit to the new boys. Ndiaye, with his through ball to start the game. He got another one off to get that second goal as well. He was all over the place. When, Vitaly Becker, as good as he was for us, when he went down injury, we could have easily said, shoot, we're screwed at this point. What are we going to do? Baumann finds Ndiaye, and Ndiaye kind of picked it up where Becker left off and kind of raised another level, because what he was doing defensively and offensively was better than what Becker was doing. No disrespect to Vitaly Becker, but it was just another level. Especially offensively, you saw a lot more assists and playmaking ability. Becker just got up down the pitch and he would create chances, but Ndiaye is finding these passes and stuff like that, and he's also pretty decent defensively. And so that's been really good. And then obviously Auschis, his playmaking, he's just getting more and more confident. You kind of see the glimpses of, when he was younger, he was a really highly touted, player. And that's why PSG kind of signed him really at a young age. And he had kind of lost his ways, but you kind of see glimpses here and there. The the linkage with him and Ndaye and El Fawzi in that midfield, transitioning from defense to offense. It's been beautiful. Then obviously his assists, what we've seen up to this point, and now last 2 weeks he's getting goals. It's been tremendous by him. Then Ljubicic, again, ghosting in and out of games. He reminds me of, and there's not the same level of striker or finishing ability, but I think it's a countryman. I could be wrong, but I think it's a countryman. Patrick Schick. Patrick Schick, obviously, is a lot better player, but at times could ghost in and out of games, and then all of a sudden he pops up and does these things. Obviously, Patrick Schick is more of a striker, and Ljubicic is a winger, but he reads the game so well that it's almost like he's conserving energy in a sense. And then when he's needed, he just pops up and gets in the right places, makes the right passes, really good crossing of the ball. We've seen that in many, many games. Joseph says, I'm breaking the rules. All those guys are man of the match. There you go. Sanjar says, Ljubicic, not only man of the match for me, but also player of the month. That's a great shout. I like that. Anthony says, you can give it to Karaman, Silla, and even Ljubicic, and I would not blame you. I mean, those are all. My honorable mention is going to go to Keenan Karaman because everyone's going to see the Ndaye passes. Everyone's going to see Ljubicic's goals and what Ashish did. But Karaman with his freaking, Zidane-like pirouettes and, beautiful controlling of the ball through players. Those goals wouldn't happen without that as well, right? And obviously the midfield work by El Fawzi and Schallenberg as well. You can't overlook that. So, but the mathematics, the avenue we have to go for promotion is 3 points. If we get at Dusseldorf, it's all over for us and we're promoted. So we'll see. We'll be doing it live on a watch along to see if we can do this. We'll find out. But this team has a lot of similarities in terms of vibe to the promotion year we had 4 years ago, whatever it was. In this game, I said, tell me if I'm nuts, but this game feels very much like the St. Pauli game from that promotion year. Oh, all right. So let's see. Well, whenever we talk victory, we always want to see, did anybody make the kicker 11? And obviously, we just talked about a bunch of guys who could have qualified. And honestly, if it was us, I think we probably would have put 4 or 5 guys in the Zweite Liga team of the week, right? But not all of them made it. Just a single person made it, and I think there's really no surprise. Dejan Ljubicic makes the team of the week with his brace against Paderborn, the game winner. Fully deserved. Is that his first one? I think it is his first one. So kudos to him. As Sanjar said, he's been having a fantastic month for us. And it couldn't come at a better time because obviously Dzeko's out. Somebody needed to step up, and really the whole team stepped up. I think that was kind of one of my concerns is who's going to step up? Silla obviously is the guy who should step up because it's a like-for-like substitution in terms of position. But what you would hope is that other players will start stepping up. Karaman was always going to step up. This is the captain. That's what he does. But Alpha Fawzi, everyone has raised their level even more. As good as everyone was playing a month ago or before the Dzeko injury, before the international break, everyone just raised their level. They understood the importance of it. And you've seen the all accesses after the games and the commentary not only Muslić makes, but you see Karaman makes it, you see Karius make it. The leaders in the room really trying to get the guys focused and say, one game at a time, these are finals. And, Ljubicic is a prime example. He deserved this team of the week nod here. So kudos to him. And speaking of Ljubicic, he's quoted after the game, says, hey, I'm very happy for the team and the club as a whole that we won today. We can celebrate now, and then we'll focus on Dusseldorf starting on Monday. So, yeah, it's Monday. I guess I wonder if they're still celebrating or not. But great game by him. Also, guys who weren't in the game, but key members of our team. Obviously, Brian Lasser there with looks like a box of burgers, I guess. And, of course, Go Triciani in the stands watching, probably in the Nordkurve, right? Or in the Nordkurve section. But good to see those two guys. And it says, together as one on and off the pitch. I figured I'd just go through a couple some of the things from the Schalke Twitter so you can just see. We got to celebrate this stuff, right? Celebrate this stuff. Obviously, Becker, mentality monsters. 2-0 after 34th minute, 3-2 after 83. And just the pictures are just amazing. This is the full-time celebration there on the bench. Wonderful scenes. Picture in front of the Nordkurve there. these point of views with Aushish. More in front of the Kur right there. And then obviously celebrating in the locker room with Hindaye, and looks like Ashish on top of the table there. So what a way, what a weekend. It's not over yet. Was it 3 finals to go now? I didn't see Keenan Carman's update, so I think it's 3 finals to go. Eric says, we really did screw Paderborn. I don't think they're going up. This is interesting. This is an interesting comment because I can't say I disagree too much with it. Their schedule is insane coming down the stretch. They have, I think, Hanover and Elversberg coming up, I believe. Let's see here. Elversberg and Karlsruhe. Hold on. Let's see the end of their fixtures here. I apologize for scrolling through here so fast. There's so many games this year. All right, so Darmstadt. So they play Elversberg and Darmstadt to finish out this season. So, and obviously Darmstadt is trying to sneak away into the promotion race. I doubt they're going to get it. However, Hanover's playing amazing at the moment, and Elversberg is consistent. And so, very well, Paderborn could lose out on this. A loss like this could derail you. I want to say St. Pauli, that year we got promoted, where we won 3-2 against them at home. I feel like they were at the top of the table as well, and when they lost that game, they didn't get promoted that year, obviously. And it wasn't until a year later, or 2 years after that, they got promoted. And I could be wrong. That's what I kind of vaguely remember. That's 4 years ago. It's a lifetime ago. But as good as Paderborn are, this is a huge mentality thing. And having 0 wins against the top 5 with 2 more top 5 teams coming, that's a huge mental block. And they have some really great players, but sometimes these things mind screw you and you just can't get out of your own way. I would not be shocked if Hanover gets an automatic promotion spot and Paderborn and Elversberg are dueling for the last spot. It could come down to the last game against Darmstadt, which would make it even worse for Paderborn at the end. I with Eric, I think this could possibly be a scenario where Paderborn gets choked away and it's all screwed by Schalke, thanks to us. I'm with Joseph. Been loving the pictures, videos, and all access areas from the media team. I can't wait for this game's all access to come out. They've been sensational to watch behind the scenes. Ryan says both away against Elversberg and Darmstadt. My goodness, away with 2 of the hardest games you're gonna have all season long. Oh my goodness. He says generally you don't get promoted without winning against your promotion rivals. That's a crazy thing. You got to give credit to Paderborn just for being where they're at with 0 wins against the top teams in the league. Normally you're not in contention. Luckily for them, they can score goals and they have all this. They're beating the teams they're supposed to beat at least. But that could be what ends up killing them is not having any wins against the top 5. If they end the season with 0 wins against the top 5, they're not getting promoted. They have 2 games to rectify that, plus whatever other game they have in between, Karlsruhe and whoever else. That's it. Karlsruhe is the sandwich game. So they got 2 games to rectify that and save their season. A win probably gets them in, but we'll see. They could be mind screwed at this point. Hanover played Nuremberg, Munster, and Bochum in comparison. Yeah, great point, Sanjar. Paderborn playing more tough teams. Paderborn, we knew they had the hardest schedule going down the stretch. Elversberg is a close second. Ryan says it's like the inverse of us. Their stupid losses to Braunschweig. Yeah, and so the one good news is we're beating the teams we're supposed to, and that's maybe what gets us promoted. We still have to play those teams at the bottom that beat us, right? We got revenge on Munster. We still have Braunschweig at the end of the season, but we got Dusseldorf and Nuremberg left, so we'll see how those pan out. But I would love to celebrate, not at the expense of Nuremberg again. I would like to see us, handle Dusseldorf, get rid of the local rivals in Dusseldorf. Be nice to get that done. And Sanjar says, and with Elversberg playing Paderborn, honestly, the race for second spot will be one to watch. Yeah, hopefully the first place one is done, and we can watch the second place and third place there and see how that all pans out. Oh, man, I don't know. But shout out again. It's Victory Monday, not only for the men, it's for the women as well. The women get promoted. Hopefully we can talk about this kind of stuff back-to-back weeks, but, it's a long ways away. nonetheless, congrats to the women. Follow us along. We're going to do a live stream, the watch along on Saturday for that game against Dusseldorf in our vying for the promised land back to the Bundesliga. All the Bundesliga teams wanted us back. We have a chance to make them pay for that. So let's see how this all pans out. But I'm excited. It's going to be antsy here this week until we get our goal that we wanted to achieve down here. Once it became a reality, I think we're all going to be just like on edge. And so it would be nice for a change to be secured and have games to spare where we can enjoy the rest of the season. It's nice to have a 6-point lead at the top of the table right now. We haven't experienced that in a long time. Been top of the table for a long time, since before the break. But yeah, let's see what happens. 3 finals to go. I think luckily Miron Muslić, Carmen and company will not let the guys take a breather. They're going to treat it as a final. And I'm hoping to just put, Dusseldorf out of the misery early in the game, not the start that we saw in this Paderborn game. So, all right, last comments here before we get on out of here. Sanjar says, Elversberg can beat Paderborn, then they play Dusseldorf and Munster. Honestly, they can get promoted, and we're going to have to watch that stadium still being constructed in the first division. And Joseph says, going to be an exciting game on Saturday at home, primetime, and fan march to Velton's Arena. Side note on Sanjar's comments, I would reckon that if Elversberg Stadium isn't finished and they do get promoted, they're probably going to have to play their games outside of home. They're going to play in a neutral stadium because their stadium's not allowed. You need to have a lot more. It doesn't meet Bundesliga standards, I should say. So they'd probably have to play in another stadium. A la Atalanta did it several years ago in Italy. I remember that, and some other teams had to do that too. So we'll see. But Jack may be back. We'll see what his love life is like going on. But again, Jack's not here tonight because he got married this weekend, and I was not going to let him come on the podcast. I don't think his wife would let him come on the podcast either. So congrats to him. I had a fun time in Chicago. Hopefully, as Sanjar says, we have shades of Nuremberg. So yeah, we'll see. Is everyone excited? I'm excited. Well, nothing's happened yet, but I'm still excited. So all right, I'm going to get on out of here. I'm going to go celebrate the rest of this week, recover from my weekend in Chicago, and hopefully no storms. Hopefully the storms are done for the night, but I don't think they are. All right. Well, everyone, enjoy the week. Thanks to everyone who came in here. As Joseph says, I'm hyped. You're hyped. We're all hyped. We'll catch you guys soon. Enjoy the week. Glück auf.